So on this video, I'm going to be going over the measurements in units and geometry practice test. The first question wants me to convert inches to yards. So I'm going to set this up using dimensional analysis. I have 144 inches. I know there are inches to feet. So I'm going to set it up with the inches on the bottom because I want to cancel this out. I'm going to have 12 inches in 1 foot. And then I can go from feet to yards. There are 3 feet in 1 yard. And then if I go through, I want to make sure my units cancel out. So I have inches on the top and bottom, feet on the top and bottom, and I'm left in yards. So then what I want to do is I want to multiply all the numbers on the top and divide by all of the numbers on the bottom. So I'm going to have 144 times 1 times 1 divided by 12 divided by, 3, which gets me 4 yards. Number 2 tells me the distance between my house and MCC is 12 miles. What is this in kilometers? So I know I'm starting off in miles, and then I want to convert to kilometers. We learned a direct conversion for this, so if I look at the back of this practice test, and it'll be on the back of the real test, 1 mile is equal to 1.61 kilometers. Okay. So then I can cancel out my units. And then I just need to do 12 times 1.61, which gets me 19.32. This one wants it to the nearest hundredth, so 2 decimal places. Okay. Number 3 tells me Alex is creating a sculpture. The base is 4 feet 3 inches tall, and the statue itself is 5 feet 11 inches tall. How tall is the entire sculpture? So I want to add these two together. I have 4 feet 3 inches, 5 feet 11 inches. So I want to start off with the smallest units first. 3 plus 11 is 14, and then 4 plus 5 is 9. Anything over 12 is a foot, so I want to do 14 minus 12 equals 1, and I'm going to add this one back to the 9. So really I have 1 foot 2 inches from this part. If I add this back to the 9, I get 10 feet 2 inches. Okay. Number 4 tells me on Halloween the temperature in Mesa was 48 degrees at 7 a.m. What is this in Celsius? So I have the conversion on the back. Celsius equals 5/9. The Fahrenheit temperature minus 32. So my Fahrenheit temperature was 48 minus 32. And then I can go ahead and just type this straight into the calculator. So I could do 5 divided by 9, parentheses, 48 minus 32. Gets me this wants it rounded to the nearest tenth. So I'm going to do 8.9 degrees Celsius. Number 5 wants me to find the perimeter. This is just adding up all of the outside numbers. So I have 4 plus 6 plus 5, which gets me 15 centimeters. Number 6 wants me to find the missing side length and to round to the nearest tenth. This is going to use the Pythagorean theorem. The a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where c is my hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse is always the side across from the right angle. And then a and b don't matter. So I'm going to have 4 squared plus 7 squared equals c squared. Then I want to go ahead and figure this out. 4 squared is 16. 7 squared is 49. And c squared is going to say c squared. So what I want to do is add 16 and 49 to get 65. Then I can go ahead and square root both sides. So I can type this into my calculator. I go second and then the x squared button, and then type in 65, which gets me 8.06. It wants it to the nearest tenth, so this is going to get me 8.1 inches for my final answer. Number 7 tells me that the two triangles are similar, and it wants me to find the length of A and Z. So what I want to do is set up a ratio. This is going to be my new triangle. This is going to be my old. So I want to do new to old. I'm going to have the pair of sides that match, 14 to 10. And then I'm going to solve for A first. That is going to be 11.2 in A. So I always want to do new over old. So the 11.2 over A. I want to cross multiply. So I'm going to have 14A equals 11.2 times 10. Which, if I do 11.2 times 10, gets me 1112. So I have 14A equals 1112. Divide both sides by 14. And that gets me A equals 8. Then I need to go ahead and do the same thing for Z, which I apologize, I did not give us enough room for. I'm going to just do it above the problem. I have the 14 over 10 still. And then this time I want to set it with the Z sides that are congruent. So I'm going to have Z over 6. I want to cross multiply. So I'm going to have 6 times 14 equals 10Z. Then 6 times 14 gets me 84. I want to divide both sides by 10. 84 divided by 10 gets us 8.4. Number 8 wants me to find the circumference and the area of this circle. Remember, circumference of a circle is if I have the diameter d times pi, or if I have the radius 2 pi r. I have the diameter because it goes all the way across, so I'm going to do 40 pi. 40 pi gets me 125, and then it wants to round to the nearest tenth, so 0.7. Circumference is just regular inches. Area is always pi r squared, so I need to find my radius. Radius is half the way across the circle, so 20. I'm going to have pi times 20 squared, and then I can type that into the calculator. So I'm going to go pi 20 squared, which gets me 1,256.6. And area is always squared. Number 9 tells me she is making a sculpture out of this piece of copper. We need to find our total area. So I'm going to break this up into two shapes. I know that up and down it is 5, straight across is 7. So the area of this shape is 5 times 7. And then the area of this shape on the bottom is 5 times 3, because it's up and down 3, and then 5 across. Okay, so 5 times 7 is going to give me 35, and 5 times 3 is going to give me 15. So I want to add those two together, which gets me 50 centimeters squared for my total area. Then B wants me to find the total cost if the price of copper is $3.50 per centimeter squared. So I'm going to use dimensional analysis to solve this. I know I have 50 centimeters squared, and my price is $3.50 for 1 centimeter squared. So my units per centimeter squared will cancel out, and then I just want to multiply 50 times 350, which gets me $175. Number 10 gives me this triangle and it wants me to find the area. I remember triangle is 1/2 base times height. This formula is also one of the formulas on the back. This one right here. So my base is straight across. Height is where it makes the right angle. So I'm going to have 1/2. My base, which was 6. My height, which was 5. And then I can just type this straight into the calculator. So I'm going to do 1/2, parentheses 6, parentheses 5, which gets me 15. So my answer here is 15 units squared. Okay. Number 11 tells me, or says that while I was writing this test, I got hungry and I bought a Pringles can. It wants me to round to the nearest 10. How many cubic inches does the Pringles can hold if it is 9.8 inches tall and has a diameter of 3 inches? So this one, I want to find the surface area for a cylinder, which is this one right here, the 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. I can tell this one is the correct one because it has pi's in it. So 2 pi r squared plus pi r squared h. Let's just make sure I copy this over. Oh. Pi r h, no squared. Then I just want to figure this out. So my height of the can is 9.8, and it tells me my diameter. So remember, diameter is twice the radius. So if I take 3 and divide by 2, I get 1.5 for my radius. And I just want to plug in. I'm going to have 2 pi times 1.5 squared plus pi 1.5 times my height of 9.8. Sorry. Then I just want to type this all into the calculator. So I have 2 pi 1.5 squared plus pi times 1.5 times 9.8. So this gets me 60.3 if I round to the nearest 10th. This is surface area, I just realized. I accidentally did this for B. Read the question it's asking me. So this was surface area. My bad, I apologize. So I'm going to answer A in this second part. I should have been answering volume. So the volume formula is this one, the pi r squared h. Which we found out our r was 1.5. And our h was 9.8. So then I just want to go ahead and plug into those. Which gets us 46.2. Again, I apologize, I messed up and switched the order of A and B. Last question tells us that my cat's favorite basket to jump in is 8 inches tall, 10 inches wide, and 12 inches deep. So 8 inches tall, 10 inches wide, 12 inches deep. What is the volume of this basket? When it is a rectangular prism, I just multiply all 3 of the numbers together. So then I would go 8 times 10 times 12, which gets us 960 inches cubed per volume.